Millionaire
You look
CEO
beautiful.
came to buy
Thank you.
engagement
You always
cake,
say that.
saw his
Because
ex
it's true.
behind counter
You make
holding
me
little
happy.
girl. Hello
I'm so
everyone,
glad we
and welcome
decided to
back to
come here this
Romance
morning.
Rewind
This pastry is
Stories.
incredible.
Before we dive into
It really
today's
is the
incredible
perfect start to
story,
the weekend.
I have a small favor
I
to
understand the
ask.
situation, but we need to
If
be
you're
careful.
enjoying these
Yes, I'll
heartwarming
handle
tales,
it. I'm on my way
please
now.
hit that subscribe button
Hey
and
there,
turn on the
little one.
She
notification
loves
bell
playing
so
with
you
you.
never miss our
And
latest
I love playing
uploads.
with her.
It's quick, it's free, and it's the best way to support us in bringing you more emotional romance stories. And here's something I'd love to know. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. I always enjoy seeing our amazing community from around the world. Oh, and if this story touches your heart, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps us grow and reach more people who love these kinds of tales. Now, let's get into today's story. Millionaire CEO came to buy engagement cake and saw his ex behind the counter, holding a little girl. Brooks Whitmore walked into Sweet Haven Bakery at exactly 4:15 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon, his assistant trailing behind him with a tablet and 3 different engagement party checklists. "This is the bakery?" Brooks looked around skeptically at the small, charming shop with its hand-painted signs and mismatched vintage tables. "Amanda, I asked for the best bakery in Seattle." "It is the best, Mr. Whitmore. They did the cake for the governor's daughter's wedding, and they had a last-minute cancellation, which is the only reason we could get an appointment this week." Amanda consulted her tablet. "Your engagement party is in 9 days. This is our only option." Brooks sighed. His fiancée Victoria had very specific requirements: elegant, sophisticated, impressive. A small neighborhood bakery didn't exactly scream those things, but he was practical. If this was the best available, then this was where he'd order. "Fine, let's make this quick. I have a conference call at 5. They approached the counter, where a young woman stood with her back to them, writing on a chalkboard menu. She wore a flour-dusted apron and had auburn hair pulled back in a messy bun. "I'll be right with you," she called over her shoulder in a voice that made Brooks freeze. He knew that voice, had heard it in his dreams for 3 years, had tried unsuccessfully to forget it. The woman turned around, and Brooks felt the floor disappear beneath his feet. Clover Hayes, his ex-girlfriend, the woman he'd dated for 2 years before building his company, had consumed him. The woman who'd told him she loved him, and he'd responded by saying he couldn't do a relationship right now. The woman who'd walked out of his life 3 years ago. Clover's eyes widened. "Brooks. Clover, I didn't know you worked here. I own here, actually. Sweet Haven is mine. I opened it 2 years ago." Before Brooks could process this, a small voice came from behind the counter. "Mama, can I have the purple frosting now?" Clover's expression shifted, something protective and panicked crossing her face. "Just a minute, sweetheart." A little girl emerged, maybe 2.5 years old, with auburn curls exactly like Clover's and eyes that were unmistakably Brooks's shade of grey-blue. Brooks stared at the child, his mind doing rapid math. 3 years since the breakup. A child who looked about 2.5. "This is my daughter, Poppy," Clover said, her voice tight. "Poppy, go back to your coloring, please." "But Mama..." "Poppy, now." The little girl retreated to a small table in the corner. Brooks couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. Amanda, oblivious, stepped forward. "We need to order an engagement cake for Mr. Whitmore's party next Saturday. Something elegant for approximately 200 guests." The word engagement landed like a bomb. Clover's face went carefully blank. "Engagement," Clover repeated flatly. "Congratulations." "Clover, can we talk privately?" "I'm working, and you're here to order a cake for your engagement party, so let's focus on that." Clover pulled out an order form with shaking hands. "What kind of flavors were you thinking?" "I don't care about the cake. Clover, that little girl, is she vanilla or chocolate?" Clover's voice was ice cold. "Or champagne flavor for an engagement party?" Brooks felt Amanda's confused look. "Mr. Whitmore, should I step outside?" "Yes," Brooks and Clover said simultaneously. Amanda hurried out, and suddenly they were alone, except for Poppy coloring in the corner. "Is she mine?" Brooks asked, barely above a whisper. Clover's jaw tightened. "Does it matter?" "Does it?" "Clover, of course it matters. That little girl has my eyes. She's the right age. So, yes, it matters." "You're getting engaged, Brooks, to someone else. So what difference does it make? Because if she's mine, I have a right to know. Were you pregnant when we broke up?" Clover's eyes filled with tears. "I found out 2 weeks after you told me you couldn't do a relationship. I came to your office. Your secretary said you were in meetings all week. I left 3 voicemails asking you to call about something important. You never did." Brooks felt sick. He remembered those voicemails. He'd been in the middle of his company's first major funding round, working 20-hour days. He'd assumed Clover was calling to reconcile, and he'd ignored them. "I didn't know," he said weakly. "I know you didn't, because you never called back. So I made a choice. You'd made it clear you didn't have space for a relationship. I figured you definitely didn't have space for a baby, so I handled it myself. You decided. Clover, that's my daughter. She's my daughter. You don't get to show up 3 years later, about to marry someone else, and claim rights to a child you knew nothing about. I knew nothing because you didn't tell me. I tried. You ignored my calls. Brooks, you chose your company over me, so I chose our daughter over telling you. I gave her a stable, loving home with a mother who was present. You were working 80-hour weeks. What kind of father would you have been?" The words hit like physical blows because they were true. 3 years ago, he'd been obsessed with success, with building his company. He'd sacrificed everything for it, including Clover. "You're right," he said quietly. 3 years ago, I would have been terrible. But Clover, I'm different now. I've built the company. I can delegate. I have time now. Is that why you're getting engaged? Because you finally have time? It's complicated. Doesn't sound complicated. You've moved on. You're starting a new life, which is fine. But you don't get to disrupt what Poppy and I have built." Brooks looked at the little girl, Poppy, his daughter, humming while she colored. She looked happy, content, loved. "Does she know about me?" "She knows her father couldn't be in her life. That's all she needs to know right now. She's 2.5, Brooks. What will you tell her when she's older?" "The truth. That her father was building something important and didn't have room for us. That it wasn't her fault." That makes me sound like a monster, doesn't it?" Clover's voice cracked. "Brooks, you walked away. You told me your company mattered more. What am I supposed to tell her?" Brooks had no answer. She was right. "I want to be in her life," he said. "I know I have no right. I know I've missed 2.5 years. But please let me know my daughter." "You're getting engaged." "I know. To someone who isn't me. Someone who doesn't know you have a daughter." "Victoria doesn't know. I didn't know until 10 minutes ago. And when you tell her, you think your fiancé will be thrilled about a secret daughter?" Brooks thought about Victoria, elegant, ambitious, focused on her career. They'd been dating for 8 months. It had been convenient more than passionate, compatible on paper, but he'd never loved Victoria the way he'd loved Clover. "I need time to process this," he said. "But I'm not walking away. She's my daughter. I want to be her father. Even if it means disrupting your perfect engagement." "Yes," Clover studied him. "I need to think. You can't just walk into her life and disappear if it gets complicated." "I won't disappear. I promise." "You promised you loved me 3 years ago and then ended things. Forgive me if I don't trust your promises." Before Brooks could respond, Poppy appeared, tugging Clover's apron. "Mama, you said purple frosting." "I did, didn't I?" Clover picked up her daughter and settled her on her hip. Let's go get that frosting. Say goodbye to the customer. Poppy waved. Bye-bye. Bye, Poppy, Brooks managed. Clover disappeared into the back, leaving Brooks alone. Amanda poked her head in. Mr. Whitmore, did you order the cake? No. Cancel the engagement party. What? Sir, it's in 9 days. Cancel it. All of it. Brooks sat in his car for 20 minutes, staring at nothing. He had a daughter, a 2.5-year-old named Poppy who loved purple frosting and looked exactly like him. And he was engaged to someone else, someone he didn't love. Brooks pulled out his phone and called Victoria. Brooks, did you order the cake? Victoria, we need to talk. He told her everything. About Clover, about discovering he had a daughter, about realizing he was making a terrible mistake. Victoria was silent. Then, so you're calling off the engagement. I'm sorry. You deserve better. I don't love you. Not the way you deserve. And I can't marry you while there's a little girl out there who's mine and doesn't know me. I appreciate your honesty. For what it's worth, I suspected this wouldn't work. We're good on paper, Brooks, but we've never had that spark. We both deserve better. I'm really sorry. Don't be. Go figure out your life. Meet your daughter. But Brooks, don't screw this up. That little girl deserves a father who's all in. Brooks made a decision. He'd screwed up 3 years ago. He wasn't going to screw this up again. Over the next week, Brooks restructured his entire life. He broke off the engagement officially. He stepped back from CEO, promoting his COO. He found a house near Sweet Haven Bakery. Then he went back. Clover was frosting cupcakes while Poppy colored. Brooks, Clover said, I didn't expect to see you. I called off the engagement, stepped back from the company, found a house 2 blocks from here. I'm serious about this, Clover. About being Poppy's father. Clover set down her frosting. You called off your engagement? It was wrong. I realized that the moment I saw you. I'm not asking to get back together. I know I hurt you, but I'm asking for a chance to know my daughter. Brooks, I'll go to court if I have to, but I'd rather do this together, co-parenting. I'll respect your boundaries, but please, let me be part of her life. Clover looked at Poppy, then back. Okay, but we do this my way. You start slow. Supervised visits. You prove you can show up consistently, and if you hurt her, I will make sure you never see her again. I won't hurt her. Over 6 months, Brooks proved himself. He showed up 3 times a week. He learned Poppy's favorite books, her silly songs, her fears. He was patient when she was shy, celebrating every connection. The first time she reached for his hand, called him Daddy Brooks, fell asleep on his shoulder. He also rebuilt something with Clover. Not romance, not yet, but friendship, trust. 8 months after walking into Sweet Haven, Brooks was at the playground with Clover and Poppy when Poppy wanted ice cream. I'll take her, Brooks offered. You look exhausted. When he returned with a chocolate-covered Poppy, Clover was laughing. She's a mess. She's happy. Brooks sat beside her. Thank you. For what? For this chance. For letting me know her. You've earned it. You showed up. Put Poppy first. Can I ask something? Sure. Do you think we could try again? Not just co-parenting, actually together. Clover was quiet. I don't know. You hurt me badly. I know. I'm asking if you could give me a chance to prove I've changed. Let me think about it. 6 months later, a full year after that day, Clover said yes to dinner. It was awkward at first, but as the evening went on, they fell into easy conversation. I missed this, Brooks admitted. Missed you. I missed you too, even when I was angry. Can we try, really try? I promise I won't let work consume me. Clover took his hand. Okay, let's try. For Poppy and for us. Because sometimes you walk into a bakery to order an engagement cake and walk out with your entire life changed. Sometimes the ex behind the counter is holding your daughter you never knew existed. And sometimes the biggest mistakes lead us exactly where we needed to be, proving it's never too late to choose love, to choose family, to cancel the wrong engagement, and build the right life. And that's where our story ends today. What did you think? Did Brooks and Clover's story touch your heart? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. Until next time, keep believing in second chances, and remember, sometimes the best thing you can do is cancel the wrong cake and choose the right family. See you in the next story.